Hello, lovely audience, and welcome to another episode of In the Spotlight, where we shine a light on entrepreneurs, SMEs, and innovators. I'm Maxine Crow, your host, and I am delighted today to be joined by Taina Pereenniemi. And Taina is actually based in Finland, and we've been talking and saying that it's just amazing how technology has made the world a smaller place, and we can just connect with some really beautiful souls. So, Taina, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you so much, Maxine. It's really exciting to be here, and I'm doing great. It's been a busy week, but positive busy. So lots of fun things happening in business and life. So really
Oh,
having good spirits here.
we'll get into some of that. But first of all, for the audience, can you introduce yourself
For
and
sure.
just let us know what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
Yes. So first, to introduce myself, I specialize in helping coaches and consultants build simple and scalable businesses by helping them develop custom strategy and setting in place done for you systems using Notion and a couple of other tools. And what well, maybe to add there, I'm also running the number one 5-star rated Notion certified consultancy in the world. So we're also spending time helping other types of companies organize their business and work in one place using Notion. But to answer your question about what inspired me to become an entrepreneur, um, definitely I would say the initial spark came from my parents. My father he's been entrepreneur for pretty much all of his career, building so many different kinds of amazing businesses. And then my mother is a children's author. She's authored countless books in countless languages and has been running that business together with my father for many years already. So both of them have been a huge inspiration for me in terms of how you can build amazing things yourself and how you can turn your dreams into reality by taking action and um, being consistent in your efforts. But what ultimately really made me take that leap and start my business was actually my daughter. So it was almost 5 years ago when she was born, and
Mm.
when I was at home with that little children, learning to walk and learning to just navigate herself
Yeah.
around the most simple things, um, I was really inspired by her, like this fearless attitude of just taking a leap and trying something while failing many times and not figuring it all out the first time. So that really gave me this extra boost of finally going for it and founding my own business and just starting to figure out what would be the way for me to make it work.
Thank you. And you know, when you were talking about your daughter then, and something that's really poignant that you said there about trying and failing, and
Yeah,
that is so true though of our entrepreneur on our journey, isn't it? Where you know things might not work out, but sometimes when you kind of feel attached emotionally to something, you don't want to give up, or you have to just change completely and realize, okay, recognize, okay, let's start again, let's just do something differently. But that failing, I feel, is just part of our
exactly.
journey, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Couldn't agree more. It's really difficult to it's almost impossible to build something amazing and something groundbreaking if you're too afraid to uh, try anything new, try anything that involves risk. So that usually comes with a couple of failures and a couple of missteps along the way, but
Yeah.
that's just part of finding your journey in life and in business.
And we're not saying be careless. There's a
Of course.
measure. There's
Mm.
always things in good measure. So Taina, what were some of the challenges that you faced? Because as a young parent starting a new business, tell us and share some lessons that you've learned over the years.
Yes, absolutely. Well, definitely having first that one small kid and eventually two small toddlers around the house definitely has had its own challenges when it comes to managing your time and just carving out enough time for building new things.
Mm.
I, I cannot stress enough the role my husband has played in making all of that possible for me. But definitely another really important learning for me along the way was the importance of starting to systemize and build structures for running my business efficiently early on, so that I would be always crystal clear on my priorities for the day and have not wasting any time like with unnecessary chaos and looking for lost things or something like that. So having this systems focus that I have in my personality and in my work was really helpful in managing that limited amount of time in as effective and efficient way as possible, so that I was able to make progress in achieving the ambitious goals I set for myself. And another thing and learning, maybe something that I didn't initially do so well, was I first tried to kind of figure all of it out alone. So I was spending, you could even say wasting some time, like trying out things that would never turn into anything viable. But then at some point I realized that I could hire a business mentor who then helped me find the initial road of being profitable and finding growth in my business. And that was definitely a big learning for me, how much of a shortcut it can be when you have someone to guide you who has been there and who has navigated similar challenges itself before.
Mm. And you talked there about systemizing because you have to juggle
Yeah.
personal, and we'll come on to work-life balance a bit later on. But what kind of systems, practical things did you put in place to just make it work for you?
Good question. Definitely something I think, regardless of what you're doing, what your niche or your industry is, something any entrepreneur should have in place is some kind of way to manage projects and tasks. So that's like a must have. You can't just wing it with hundreds of post-it notes and remembering things in your head. You need to have some place to keep track of the things you're working on and what needs to be done next. And another important system to put in place is obviously to track your clients and also potential clients. So having some way of organizing your leads and sales pipeline, organizing client information and your commitments with them. So these are really fundamental. Obviously, I could go the whole night on about all the different other ways you can systemize your business, but those are truly critical for anyone in business.
Thank you for those insights.
Yeah.
You shared about having a business mentor that actually helps you navigate and start to become profitable as a business. So what kind of strategies did you adopt as part of that learning? And then we'll come on to Notion and what all that's about. So really excited to hear.
Yeah. So before having that mentor, my time was spent a lot on quite low ticket offers. So I was really like creating some mini offers around my expertise and kind of undervaluing really my time and the value I can provide. But then with the help of that mentor, I was able to figure out how it's so much easier, especially in the beginning, to build and grow a profitable business if you're selling a valuable service to a targeted niche. So I really like defined my niche in these coaches and consultants that I'm focused on helping today, and then defined this valuable program that would be truly transformative in helping them get from a place of chaos and overwhelm into having things organized in one place so that they're able to scale. So figuring that out was definitely the key strategy for me to get the ball rolling and actually start building a good and profitable business myself.
Thank you for sharing that. So just actually onto your business now. So tell us about Notion, and how did you come up with that as your business proposition?
Yes. Well, pretty much for my whole adult life, I've been a kind of a productivity and tool geek. So I've always been really fond of all the different ways we can manage our time and information and work better. And I've tried pretty much all of the major tools out there that are available for that kind of purpose. And then I discovered Notion actually through a colleague when I was still working in the startup world. And one of my colleagues kind of gave me this tip, like, hey, you might want to check this out. You might find it pretty useful. And once I started putting my work and information in Notion, I realized how incredibly powerful that tool is to really like build an all-in-one system for life and business. And it was really a no-brainer for me when I then started providing these business consulting services to my own client as an entrepreneur. It was really a no-brainer to build it around that tool I really loved, and that could be molded into so many different kinds of amazing setups for other entrepreneurs to manage their business.
So if someone in the audience, and even when they're listening back, wanted to understand a bit more about the system, what's the process? Do you have like demonstrations, or tell us walk us through the customer journey?
Yes. Basically, I nowadays no longer have just one service, so I have kind of different ways of serving different parts of my clientele. But to give you an overview of a typical journey that the coaches and consultants would have when working with us, we would first of all want to start with auditing their situation. So we would go in there and understand where are the biggest bottlenecks when it comes to growing a business in a structured way. So it might be that they don't have the customers organized. It might be that they are lacking SOPs, making it impossible to hire the VA or hire a coach or whatnot. It might be that they have their documents all over the place and it takes ages to find anything. So we would figure out where the bottlenecks are. And then based on that, I would go in and map out the key structures and processes we would need to set in place to get rid of those bottlenecks and create a more streamlined setup. And then once we've clarified that goal of what we want to put in place, then me and my team of tech experts would go in and do all of the system setup done for you, because lots of my clients are pretty allergic when it comes to tech and systems. Some of them love it, but most of them kind of want to minimize their time setting these things up. So it's really huge time or even life saver to have someone who knows exactly what to do to make it all personalized and customized for your needs. Have them come in and set it all up for you. And then part of the journey is also then obviously training the business owner and their team members in how everything works after we're done with setting things up, and then staying there for support for a pretty lengthy period of time. So we will always stay there for several months, making sure that every question gets answered, and that we're also able to make little tweaks and adjustments where needed to truly make sure that the system and the processes are running smoothly.
Yeah, that's really exciting. I'm pro tech camp actually. I
That's
love
amazing. Yeah.
technology. I mean, without the technology, I wouldn't have you. Wouldn't have you here today.
Well,
So
yeah, for sure.
very, very blessed. So you talked about niching down, and
Yeah.
whereas some businesses or companies, they offer lots and lots of different services. But when you what do you niche? Have you niched in a certain market industry, or tell us what who and what is your niche?
Yes, my main niche is coaches and consultants. So that
Mhm.
is the client profile I'm most specialized in serving. So that's our core niche client profile. And even to be more specific, usually uh, those clients are at the point where they've already kind of found what works in the market and their business starts picking up, but they don't have the structures and processes and systems in place to sustainably uh, grow
Yeah.
and bring in those new clients that want to join their programs and work with them. So that is the typical client profile we help and who we work with. And then we've also, as we discussed, we've niched very much tool wise as well. So we're the world leading experts in Notion because we just know how powerful that tool can be in serving this niche, in getting their systems structured and organized.
Yeah.
So that's what we focus on when setting things up for clients.
So thank you for that, Tyler. So tell us, what's the best piece of advice that you've received as an entrepreneur?
Well, I kind of already touched upon that a little bit, and definitely it is about being focused in who you serve. So that niching down is really critical. And in addition to that, advice that has been really important for me is to not while not trying to serve everyone and provide something for everyone, also for that specific niche, to really define a valuable service that for sure gets them from place A to B, and gives them all the support and attention they need to make sure that they get the problem solved and become happy clients and like advocates of your business. So unless you're able to really bring those results for the clients that they're happy to pay for and that are highly valuable, unless you're really able to bring those results, you will miss out on all the word of mouth, all the referrals and extensions and things like that that happy clients will provide. So really emphasizing that in my business has definitely been important, and I'm so so grateful for getting that valuable advice from business mentors before.
Oh, that's amazing. So here's a question. So you've gone from one young child when you started the
Yeah.
business to two. How do you manage your work-life balance?
Wow. Well, initially, when I was still at home with these two small children, it was just basically making the most of every little moment I had. So when someone was taking a nap, instead of maybe having that well-deserved moment of just relaxing, I took out the laptop and worked on something related to my business. But it didn't even feel like work. When you're really passionate about something, it's something you crave to do so much that feels like a vacation in itself to be able to work. And then, of course, my husband was instrumental in all of that. So we were taking turns, giving each other time. He was providing plenty of his time to give me time to work on these things. And then, of course, eventually the children have been in daycare as well. So
Yeah.
that has now given me the possibility to work full days in my business, and I would no longer be able to do it as a side hustle thing. So
Yeah.
definitely thank you, great childcare and daycare in Finland.
Do you know, you really touched on an important point there, because especially when you're starting
Yeah.
out in business, the support is so critical
Yeah.
and it's not even just support of, okay, there's the daycare or as a form of partner, but it's also that emotional support
Mhm.
as well, or someone to bounce ideas off. And there's something to be said for having a thing. There's no I in business. You have
Oh
to
yeah,
have
yeah.
people to work. So I really resonate with that, and I equally resonate with it not feeling like a job, because the hours just fly by and you think, well,
Yeah,
it's midnight
yeah.
already. I need to get some
Then you
sleep.
definitely know you're working with the right things when time just starts flying like that.
It
Yeah.
does. It does. Taina, is there a book, podcast, or resource that's been really influential for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm very much a person who likes to read when learning new things and consuming information. So that's my favorite way of doing it. And um, I can definitely recommend this Company of One
Hmm.
by Paul Jarvis. That's something I picked up when I was still in the very, very early stages, just first figuring things out. And that gave me a lot of fresh thoughts around why being a small business owner gives you so many more possibilities in being agile and
Mm.
providing best service for clients, and doing it in a way that allows you to also build the life of your dreams. So not just working for the money, but creating a life and working life that truly serves you and truly gives you wonderful things every day. So I love that book. I'm no longer a company of one, but still I do believe in a lot of the statements made in that book, and not just crazily going after and searching for the next revenue milestone, but always thinking of how I could do this in a more simple way with a more simple organization and structure to really make it work for me.
It's such a valuable point when you talk about the systems and structures, because when it comes to, so I'm from a very large corporate background,
Yeah.
and so many years ago when we'd start out, we'd find ourselves just recreating
Mm,
processes, recreating procedures, recreating tools, and
yeah.
the bigger it gets, the more disparate it can get as well. And so having a tool like Notion is something where everything, it's a global, get me right, it is global, and then it can just streamline across all areas of
For
a
sure.
business. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. When it comes to a tool like Notion, it truly can help these remote teams working from all across the globe come together and have one shared source of truth when they're doing work. So you can only imagine how much time and wasted effort that will save for remote teams, and
Mm.
especially growing teams.
So how does it differ to, so in my mind, it
Yeah.
just came up with, how does it differ from like a SharePoint, or like you've got like a Slack, or these Asanas?
Yeah.
How do you differentiate from those types of tools?
Well, you mentioned three examples that all illustrate like one common type of program that all serve a different purpose. So SharePoint is very much focused around organizing information and knowledge, and also like project spaces and stuff like that. Slack is very much focused on being a communication channel, like giving people the means of sending messages and receiving messages. And Asana is heavily focused around being a project management platform where you can organize tasks and projects. What I love about Notion, and what I see as the main differentiator, is that Notion kind of brings together all of these possibilities in one. So where it can be used for managing those projects like Asana, it can also be used to have a lot of the comments and discussion between team members, similarly as you might have in Slack. And also you can build it as this whole knowledge management platform where you can find all your documents and notes and other resources nicely in the same context. And we didn't even talk about CRM tools like HubSpot or Pipedrive, that you can also in most cases replace by a simple CRM built all in one place on Notion as well. So it's all about the flexibility and the powerful, like I call them Lego blocks, these building blocks that it gives you, so that you can turn it into something personalized for you, covering so many different use cases and having all of that in one place.
That's actually amazing, because sometimes there's so many balls to juggle as it is with a business. You just want one place where you can go and just have everything. So it's great to know that it can actually do that.
Oh yes.
Taina, do you do any workshops or webinars? How do the audience learn more about you, learn more about Notion? Can you just share some with us?
So definitely when it comes to learning about the different resources, webinars and other things that I'm putting out there, definitely the best place is to go to my website, which is my first name, last name.com. I'm sure Maxine can put it somewhere in the show notes. And so tainapereenniemi.com. And also I'm active on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook as well. So depending on your preferred channel of choice, get in touch and connect with me. So I will be sharing there regular information about Notion and scaling a coaching and consulting business, and updated information on upcoming webinars and other resources. So yeah, would love to connect.
So this recording is streamed on Facebook and YouTube as well. So what I'll do afterwards is share those links with you so that you can socialize those. Yeah. Do you have just before we go, do you have a message or a lesson that you could give to our listeners as a takeaway from the conversation today?
Definitely, I want to make a point of reminding people on how much value there is to pay attention to structuring and systemizing from early on. So you don't want to become one of those entrepreneurs who just let the mess pile up, and then suddenly they realize that they cannot grow and they cannot be profitable because of all the mess and having inability to delegate and inability to serve clients efficiently. So even with simple things like a very simple project management tool, you can have so much more organization and so much less chaos that it's valuable for entrepreneurs at any stage of their journey.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing. So we've come to the end of our session already. It's just
I'm really sorry.
I know it just goes so quickly. Just to recap, a couple of shout outs and things that resonated with me from our discussion today. The importance of getting a business mentor, especially when you're at the beginning of your journey, but also you evolve as you go, as you grow and you learn. So it's, do you still have a mentor?
Right at the moment, I must admit, I actually don't. Maybe I should, but I felt like I currently have so much clarity on what I'm doing that it's more about just executing a strategy. But maybe when I start taking a next leap and I find myself a little bit puzzled on how to do it best, I would definitely see a lot of value in finding a good mentor again.
Yeah, and also the key takeaway was actually niching. So focusing on who you want to serve is a key message that we've heard today, and of course why we're here, systemization and learning more about Notion, and what was the last thing? What was the other one there? Niching, getting mentor, and systemizing.
For sure.
And also the book. So Company of One.
Yes, Company. I can highly recommend. Yes.
Yeah, that's an absolutely great share. Taina, it has been an absolute honor and pleasure to have you on today. Thank you so much. Big hugs to your children. Well, I can't hug mine right now. She's away. But take care, everyone. This has been another episode of In the Spotlight. We shall see you soon. Thank you for joining.